Post Sex Nachos. They're coming back to town for Alternating Currents, and they're joining us live on the magic screen. I just did something, and I realized how ridiculous I looked at it as I was doing it. We've got Mitch and Chase and Sammy all on the magic screen ready to talk about their upcoming appearance and everything that they're up to.
I guess I'll have to take your word for it.
So I was panicking here because we played the new song, right, Been Somebody, and then there was a snafu in terms of my getting them into the magic screen. And so I went ahead and played Coffee, another tune from Post Sex Nachos. You can't get too much Post Sex Nachos.
Did you see how
I've been saying that
cool
forever.
and collected I was?
No, you always keep your head on a swivel, and that's one of the reasons I love doing the show with you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're playing the Coffee tune, and Mitch and Chase and Sammy are waiting, and I'm giving them motions like, okay, guys, 2 minutes left in the song, 1 minute left in the song. Like they don't know when the song's over, it's their song. I don't know what's the matter with me. Fellas, Post Sex Nachos, it's great to have you here on Day One. Welcome, one and all, Mitch and Chase and Sammy. We are so excited for your return to Alternating Currents. This will not be your first time here for this festival.
Oh, no.
Correct.
No, we love coming back to Davenport, Quad Cities. They would always, for Alternating Currents, we've played 3 years in a row at the Daiquiri Factory. But for this year, we're doing our second year where we're doing the Last Picture House rooftop. Yeah.
Okay, so I saw you last year at Daiquiri Factory, and I've been told by people I trust that last year, you guys at the Last Picture House, everyone I know that went said that was the show.
People were like jumping overboard.
Right. There was some concern that you might blow the roof off the joint, which was weird because you were playing outside.
There was no, correct. The roof was under.
We were on top of the roof. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So I know that was kind of a new thing last year, having bands out there, and obviously they fell in love. So you're going to be back in that space, yes?
It was great. Yes.
Now, do you
Very
have
excited.
just the one performance, or are you somewhere else as well?
As
We're
far
just
as we
doing the
know,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. So we just got one. But then, we're pretty pumped. The last year, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a little bit of a rain scare, and I think we just barely squeezed our set in because of the rain. And thankfully, obviously, like we never love, like dealing with rain delays or, any rescheduling or anything, but it went on as planned and everything was dry for the most part. So, we're knocking on wood right now that we get the same luck for this year.
You're a band that's from the Midwest, so like the Midwest weather in August, it's not something that surprises you guys. Help us understand the origins of Post Sex Nachos. How did it get started?
Oh, on a rainy day, just like any other in the Midwest. No, we actually can't talk about it, unfortunately. We signed
can't talk about how the band started?
We signed a
No. We can talk about how the band started. We can't talk about how we got the band name.
Okay.
You have to read the NDA
I
again,
think
Chase.
it's just a dangerous line to follow because it might lead to the band name, which we cannot talk about, Sammy.
Which is okay to preface that, Chase.
No, we can talk about how we met.
Oh, then be my guest.
Hey guys. I'm Sammy.
Sammy's the lead vocalist. And he does rhythm guitar.
I like the idea that you guys have an agreement that we're not going to talk about the name of the band. I think that's a wise decision because everyone's going to want to speculate and talk about that.
Yeah.
Because in my mind's eye, you can look at it two ways. Okay, are we talking about nachos in bed, or are we talking about getting cleaned up, showered, and then going to get some nachos at a sports bar? Now, I guess both could be true, and I understand.
They've made it very clear they're not going to go down this road with us.
That they can't talk about it, and I'm guessing that you probably can't talk about. I mean, I guess another option would have been post-sex cigarettes, which has got a nice sound to it.
We play a band called Cigarettes After Sex. That's already
that's the thing as well.
That's already a thing.
All right.
Oh yeah,
we'd
be sued by now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know okay. All right, I want to know about the origins of the band, University of Missouri, right? I want to know about all of that. But I will just feel that I have to get in my 2 cents here about the name Post Sex Nachos, because there are so many bands that we play here on Planet 93.9. We talk about this all the time where the spelling's a little different, right? Like churches with a V and always. And they do that because when you go to Google, you want to make sure you're looking at Churches, the band, and not getting churches in your neighborhood. Post Sex Nachos. I was very nervous doing the research for this interview to Google Post Sex Nachos. What's going to come up?
No, you weren't.
I was very nervous.
No, you weren't.
Nervous because I was excited.
It was okay to be nervous.
You've done worse.
All right, help us understand what happens at the University of Missouri where you guys get together.
Okay, I guess the abridged version, the short and sweet version is that in 2018, Chase and I got drunk in my mom's basement, and we wrote a song called not with my mom. No, she was just there if we got hurt or something. And
you boys get drunk in the basement. I'll just be upstairs.
I'm gonna get some.
She's like, if you need anything, I'll be up here.
Ritz crackers and cheese whiz.
She's the best woman in the world, and that is totally something that she did. She said, if you need anything, I'll be up here. Okay. And we wrote a song called Vows. Not a great song, but hey, we'd never done that together before. And so we go back to Columbia, Missouri after the weekend and send a big message into a group chat saying, hey, think we're starting a band ? And we need a drummer ? And then there's this kid who's a year younger than us named Hunter who responded and lied to us saying that he played the drums, and he didn't actually play the drums at that time. He played when he was 10. But he he borrowed a car and went and
How
did
does
he
think
have
he's gonna
drums?
Yeah, I'm confused.
No, he borrowed a car from a buddy and drove an hour and a half to buy $100 drum set off of Marketplace, and then we were none the wiser.
Wait, so
back
Hunter
and we started
hasn't played since he was 10 years old. He lies about being a drummer. He sets up the kit. He plays with you.
Oh,
and you have no idea that he doesn't know how to play the drums.
Well, he played when he was 10 years old, and then he stopped playing, and he started playing for the band.
You know what? That would have been a good name for the band too. None the wiser.
No, I think that's already been taken. Yeah,
good.
Darren, you don't call your band Post Sex Nachos because there's a lot of great band names available. This rock and roll thing's been going on for decades.
Oh, that's really good.
It was more of a last resort band name.
Were there now? If you can't answer, that's fine. Were there other names under consideration other than Post Sex Nachos?
That's a good question. I feel like no one ever asks us that, and
that's a great question.
I come on a little bit later in the story, so that's a question for Chase and Sammy.
No other band names. We
Not
didn't.
one?
We didn't think about it too hard. We didn't think it would be a job.
All right, so you guys get together, you write a song. Now, when you started playing, did you do all original stuff, or if you didn't, what did you cover?
So at our very first show, which brought Mitch on, by the way, as a guest performer, he was our keyboardist at the time.
Did not know how to play keyboard.
Another lie.
There's a real thing here.
And did you let him know that he was only there on guest with only guest privileges?
Kind of. Like literally the stipulation, not the stipulation. Sammy texted me and said, "Hey, look, we need one keyboard player for one song, and it's coffee." And so he's like, if you could learn it, it was out by that point. He's like, if you could learn it and come to our band practice and play it, that'd be great. And I was like, sure, I don't have a keyboard. He's like, you can use mine. So I practiced it in the music school at Mizzou. I learned the rest of the songs that were out, Vows, and then we like they kind of like, we're like, oh, if you want to play keyboard for the rest of the songs, sure, here are the songs, and they teach me them really quick. And like I was just kind of like playing along on a keyboard, like I knew chords ishy. But like, so it got to the point where they're learning a cover. This is where Chase was leaving off the story. And so we we do we're learning a Weezer song, and they were like, oh, if you want to play guitar, and I was like, sure. And I played guitar, and they're like, why don't you just do that? What, like, you're so much better at guitar, why are you playing piano? And I was like, you asked me to. I don't, like, you just asked me to. And so then after that show, they were like, well, why would you play piano? That's such a bad idea.
That's kind of an insult.
No,
Well,
that's completely fine. I'm not a piano player, so completely.
So the secret of the success for Post Sex Nachos seems to be finding guys that aren't really suited for the job, and then they just kind of morph into it and become. Because having seen this band, they're incredible live. I would never believe that they weren't good at all the entire time.
Yeah, but at least you get to learn together.
Yeah,
and that's just what we did.
And it's been great.
Yeah.
Mitch, Chase, and Sammy from Post Sex Nachos are joining us here on Dave and Darren in the Morning, Real Alternative Radio, Planet 93.9. I'm looking at the tour itinerary, and it looks like you're doing a lot of festival dates this summer. One in particular that has me interested is the Mile of Music Festival. Now, that's in August. That's before Alternating Currents. Alternating Currents is kind of based on Mile of Music, right? I think that they're trying to do something similar to that Appleton Festival, because that thing is, I've heard, amazing. Can you tell us about the Appleton Festival and how the Alternating Currents compares to it?
I think you hit it on the nose. They are both so similar. Obviously, like in the structure of hey, this is put on by the city, and it's going to use the city's resources as venues. And it's free for people to go to. But I think what like actually really connects the two is just how well the festival treats the artist and like makes the artist how they make the artist feel throughout the weekend. They do a really, really good job with hospitality and programming, and just making it like an artist-led experience, which I think Mile is like, the pinnacle of what that example should look like. And Alternating Currents does it so well too. I mean, there's a, like we tell our agent every year, we're like that's the non-negotiable that we got to go play, is we're going to be in Iowa in the middle of August.
Well, you've been here for a number of Alternating Currents. You've seen it grow. You've seen it improve. I'm hoping that's your takeaway. Obviously, you must love coming back here, that you say it's a non-negotiable. Help us understand from an outsider's point of view how Alternating Currents as a festival has evolved.
Man, like we can only speak about it from our perspective as our band. Like when we started it and we were going, and I'm trying to remember the two venues we played besides Daiquiri Factory. I think it was the outdoor stage at Stomp Box Brewing. Is that right, Sammy?
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Stomp Box.
Yeah, Stomp Box. And then where was the second? It was Daiquiri Factory.
Yeah, Daiquiri Factory. Yeah. So
we did Max Tavern the next year.
Yes, Max Tavern.
That place was hilarious.
So
hilarious. How? What's hilarious about Max Tavern?
No, it was great. It was hilarious because first of all, our sound engineer there was so funny. And then also it's just like really compact, so you're like playing in front of tables that are like kind of chest high, right? Because it's like a bar seating,
right, like
bar tables. And it was awesome. Like the crowd loved it, and it was a great time. But I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna run into a table.
I think if like the biggest thing just from our perspective, I guess, throughout the 3 years is like it seems like there's a bit more community buy-in year after year. Like the crowd, like the general like walking crowd you see throughout the day seems to just be getting bigger and bigger, which translates well into like the crowds that are at each artist show. So I think at least that's the biggest thing I've noticed, is that there just seems to be more people that like make it part of their weekend every year.
And then when you guys get done with us, I mean, you're playing like some legendary spots. You're playing the Del Mar Hall in St. Louis.
Yeah, we got to do our first Del Mar Hall show last year. I guess around this time last year, right? It was around June.
Yeah.
And we just had a blast. We, us three actually, we're all from St. Louis, from the St. Louis area. So playing Blueberry Hill, 3 or 4 times in a row to be able to like move up to the next room at Delmar Hall, like a place where we've all been and seen some of our favorite artists just as, as teenagers. To be able to play there again is a great, it's such a good room. I mean, we're super pumped.
The tune we just played, "Bend Somebody," that's new. Is that on a new album? What's happening next for Post Sex Nachos?
It's on a new EP, 5-song EP that'll be coming out eventually. Gotta tie some stuff up and then we can figure out when it's coming out. And then there's a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming aside from that.
Isn't
There's
it
a lot of stuff.
Isn't
happening.
it interesting that if you put out 4 songs, but it was actually on a digital, but they don't call it an ED?
That is interesting.
I guess maybe there's like a stigma.
Well, I mean, yeah.
No stigma. No stigma.
No stigma. There's no stigma. There's no stigma.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I will say, having seen this band,
Destigmatize it.
I will say, having seen this band at Alternating Currents, they are a must to go to. There's so many great bands, but Post Sex Nachos, we're thrilled that you're coming back. Cannot wait to see you. Alternating Currents is music, film, art, and comedy. It happens August 14th through the 17th, and it sounds like Last Picture House is the place to catch you guys. Yeah,
it sure is.
Thank you, guys.
Download the app and make sure you don't miss Post Sex Nachos and all of the great stuff that'll be happening at Alternating Currents. It was wonderful having you guys on. We cannot wait to see you this year for Alternating Currents and hopefully for many years to come.
Thank you for having
Thank you,
us.
guys. Appreciate y'all.
That's Mitch, Chase, and Sammy from the band Post Sex Nachos appearing at Alternating Currents. We are Dave and Darren in the morning, and this is Planet 93.9.
1, 2. I got good intentions, just
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, guys.